All right, everyone, here we go with the notes for Chapter 4, getting into a bit of the AESKOPP approach. Talking about attitude and goal setting in this chapter as well. AESKOPP. We've talked about this mnemonic earlier on. And the thing here to keep in mind with each of those elements that they can't stand on their own individually. You need each of the elements in there because one will build on the other and the other will build on the other. If any one of the elements is not present, then the result is zero success because any element multiplied by zero is zero. So it's not the kind of thing where you can kind of pick and choose. Obviously, you're going to be better at one particular element than another. But all of the elements have to be present in some form in order for there to be a successful result, which in the case of sales is getting and keeping customers. So let's talk about the definitions of everything in the AESKOPP approach. Attitude. Attitude is having the desire and motivation to be a salesperson and having the proper mindset to do it. In the words of John Maxwell, your attitude determines your altitude. So you can ask yourself, how high are you flying? Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand yourself and others so that you can develop empathy and rapport with people and manage relationships successfully. So you have to understand that when you're dealing with other people, you're dealing with relationships. And relationships, while there is the logistical aspect and the matter-of-fact sort of aspect, as human beings, we are emotional beings. So trying to have that sense of empathy and sympathy and compassion and all those other sorts of things are going to be helpful for someone when you're dealing with business clients. Skills are the ability improved through preparation and deliberate practice to use your knowledge of sales techniques, methods, and tools. And this is something that should be continually honed. You don't just learn something and then you've completely arrived. Partly because skills continue to evolve based on the demands of the culture and the demands of the industry. So there's always going to be new things to learn, new approaches, different approaches. So continuing to learn and practice the different skills and knowing when to evolve with those skills. Knowledge means knowing the product you are selling in depth, knowing more about it than your customers do so that you can educate them. Know what it is you're talking about, know what it is you're offering your clients so that you can guide them through what to expect, that you can anticipate certain surprises and mishaps and things like that. Have a knowledge of what it is that you are offering. Opportunities are the circumstances in which you can use your tools, the attitudes, the skills, the knowledge. So anytime that you are in a position to be able to talk to somebody, to educate them, to make them an offer, many times opportunities, they can be created, but there are times where the opportunity just arises, and are you able to take advantage of that opportunity? A large part of preparation is getting organized to solve customer problems. We'll talk about this in terms of short-term and long-term. Short-term preparation is intense, thorough preparation for every sales call, every presentation, every negotiation, every service call. A general rule of thumb is that you should spend a minimum of 2 hours of preparation for every 20-minute call or presentation. 6 hours for every 1 hour call or presentation. These numbers are not hard and fast, but it's the idea that you're going to spend a whole lot more time preparing to do something than the amount of time it's going to take to actually do a thing. What's going on in that preparation? Well, there's research, there's seeking out information, there's trying to find background on the particular business that you may be calling on, maybe getting information on the particular industry they're involved with, knowing what's going on within your market and trends and all that sort of thing. So having that information already gathered and researched so that you come off sounding knowledgeable and intelligent, having a bit of leadership beside you when you go to talk to somebody. Long-term preparation requires deliberate practice. This is characterized by doing this list of things here. Being engaged in activity that's designed to specifically improve your performance. And this is the case where it's great to have a mentor or a teacher that can show you things that you don't know or help you to improve in the things in which you don't excel at as well. It also will include activities that can be repeated an infinite amount of time. Practice making certain pitches, practice understanding certain elements, practice what it means to put together a presentation in a certain way or to answer certain challenging questions. Be ready for those things. An activity on which feedback is continuously available. So you want to practice, you want to have someone that can guide you through that practice and to be able to give you tips on what you're doing well, where you can improve. An activity that is highly demanding mentally and physically. This helps you to stretch, this helps you to expand and to think about things in different ways, to wrap your mind and your actual abilities around things that increase your potential. And honestly, some activities that are not much fun. If there is an aspect of a job that you don't enjoy doing well, that's something you probably actually ought to practice a lot more, because we do have that propensity to kind of put aside the things that we're not as much interested in or we don't enjoy as much. But if we practice those things, it might not necessarily make us enjoy that activity more, but it will make us better at doing the thing that we don't necessarily want to do. Deliberate practice is specifically designed to improve performance, not on an element of performance that a person is necessarily good at or likes, but one that is necessary to achieve expertise. So the things that are boring, the things that we have to get ourselves mentally motivated to do, those are things that we need to practice. And they become chores when you do them, especially in the beginning. But the more that you can practice them, the more they become second nature, so that you don't even really have to think about those things as much. You simply just do them. Persistence means never giving up, sticking to it. Salespeople will get 10 times more no's than they do yeses. So persistence and grit are vital, and salespeople need to continue working on prospects past any initial uninformed no's that a client may give them. Think about this in terms of baseball. When a batter goes up to the plate, the batter, if they're considered to be a good hitter, is going to successfully make contact with that baseball and make it to base 1 time out of every 3. A .333 batting average is considered a superstar in the baseball world. So to be able to get 10% of success when it comes to an initial contact with the client is not bad. If you can get to having 1 successful contact out of 4, you're doing really good. 1 out of 3 makes you a superstar. Key elements and core competencies of the approach. Each of the 7 elements is made up of a group of core competencies. These are building blocks that linked together lead to successful performance on that element. Check out the diagram in your textbook that kind of explains this in a little better sort of way. To use the AESKOPP approach effectively, you need to evaluate yourself based on your degree of expertise on each of the core competencies, and there is a pretty extensive list there. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are good at all of the individual things, but there's definitely going to be things there that are going to help you to be able to be competent as a salesperson. And that's going to do it for this video. We have 2 more on this chapter. We'll see you over on the next one.